What if just 5 minutes each morning could literally reverse stiffness you thought was permanent? If you are over 60 and you wake up with stiff hips, complaining knees, or that heavy, tight feeling in your back, your body is not breaking down. It is warning you, and it is not just aging. Harvard researchers have shown that the real problem is dehydrated fascia, compressing your joints and shutting down your mobility from the inside out. The good news is that there is an ancient 5-minute ritual monks have used for centuries to reverse this stiffness, reduce inflammation, and bring back the kind of smooth, pain-free movement most people believe is gone for good. Modern science now proves exactly why it works, and I'm going to show you how to do it safely right at home today. Every day you wait, your fascia dries out a little more, about 1% each year after 25, and the longer it stays dry, the stiffer your joints become. Stay with me for the next 3 minutes and you will learn all 5 movements you can begin using this morning. And before we get started, type your name and where you are watching from in the comments so I know you are joining this journey. Here is what you need to understand before we move into the practice. Fascia is the soft connective tissue that wraps around your muscles and joints like a living support system, and it does far more than most people realize. After about age 25, this tissue begins losing hydration at a steady rate of about 1% every year. By the time you reach your mid-40s, it can be up to 25% drier than it was in your youth, and dry fascia behaves just like dry leather. It cracks, it tightens, and it pulls your whole body inward, which is why posture collapses and your range of motion shrinks even if you stay active. Here is the part that surprises most adults over 60. Most stiffness and joint pain does not actually come from the joint itself. It comes from stagnant fascia that is compressing nerves, blocking blood flow, and trapping inflammation in the area. And that is why stretching alone does not fix stiffness. Strength training alone does not fix it. Even yoga does not fix it. None of those approaches activate the fascia network itself, so nothing really changes. But in 2022, researchers studying fascia found something remarkable. When you perform slow, intentional micro-movements around a joint, the fascia behaves like a sponge that suddenly wakes up. It pulls water back into the tissue, it increases synovial fluid inside the joint, and it signals your fibroblasts to start rebuilding collagen. In other words, the right kind of small circular movement can switch your repair system back on even later in life. About 1,200 years ago in the mountains of Sichuan, Taoist physicians began noticing a pattern that did not match what they expected. The monks who lived the longest were not the ones who meditated for hours or followed the strictest diets. The ones who stayed strong, mobile, and clear, headed into their 80s and 90s, were the ones who performed a simple morning ritual before they spoke to anyone or began their work. It took only a few minutes, but they repeated it every single day. They believed the body had 5 gates that controlled the flow of hydration, circulation, and energy throughout the entire system. Those gates were the ankles, the knees, the hips, the spine, and the shoulders. These joints were seen as the valves that kept the body young. If they stayed open, fluid moved, inflammation drained, and movement stayed effortless. If they closed, everything tightened, pain collected, and aging sped up. The monks treated these gates with the same importance we now give to vital organs because they understood how quickly a stiff joint could steal vitality from the entire body. Early Western explorers who visited Sichuan in the early 1900s wrote about meeting 80 and 90-year-old monks who moved with the ease and fluidity of teenagers. They described no stiffness, no decline, no signs of joint degeneration, even in men who had lived through harsh winters and spent decades working on mountain terrain. What they did not know at the time is that the monks' morning ritual was doing something we can now explain with modern science. Fascia researchers call it the hydration repair cycle. The monks described it as washing the joints with breath. They did not have the vocabulary of collagen fibers or synovial fluid or microcirculation, but they understood the principle. When you wake up the fascia around those 5 gates with slow intentional movement, the tissues pull in hydration, the joints begin to lubricate themselves, and the whole body starts repairing at a deeper level. Different language, same truth. When the 5 gates stay open, your movement stays young. Exercise 1. Ankle spirals begin with a clear command so you can get into position right away. Stand tall and lift 1 foot just an inch off the ground, about 2 to 3 centimeters. Keep your knee relaxed and start drawing slow circles with your ankle. You are going for 20 circles clockwise, steady and smooth. As you move, feel the rotation coming from deep inside the joint instead of letting your whole leg swing around. These slow controlled circles begin rehydrating the fascia around the ankle, almost like turning that tissue into a living sponge that pulls moisture back into places that have felt dry and stiff for years. This is also the pump that drives inflammation upward and out of the lower leg, which is why so many people feel lighter after the very first session. Good. Now switch directions and go 20 circles counterclockwise. Keep your balance steady and remember that small circles work far better than big ones. If your balance feels unsteady, rest a hand gently on a wall or chair. There is nothing to prove here. Quality is what matters. As you continue circling, notice how the muscles along your foot and lower leg begin to warm from the inside out. That warmth is a sign that the gate of flow is opening and the joint is beginning to behave the way it did years ago. Now switch feet and repeat the same pattern. Lift the foot slightly, soften the knee, and begin those slow, intentional circles. You might notice this side feels tighter or more resistant. That is completely normal. Most adults over 60 have one ankle that has taken more load over the years, and today you are simply waking it back up. Keep imagining the joint becoming smoother with every rotation, like you are gently lubricating it from the inside. This movement does not stretch the joint and it does not strain it. It rehydrates it. As you finish your last few circles, pause for a moment and feel the difference between now and when you started. Even a slight sense of looseness means you have opened the first pathway the monks relied on for more than 1,000 years to drain inflammation and restore youthful movement. This is only the beginning, and it sets the tone for everything that comes next. Exercise 2. Knee circles begin with getting your setup right so your knees and lower back stay safe. Bring your feet together so your big toes touch. Gently place your hands on your knees, not to push or lean, but simply to guide the motion. Now start making small, slow circles with both knees in a clockwise direction. Keep the circles tiny and controlled. These small movements are what restore synovial fluid inside the joint and help decompress the space that often feels tight or pinched for adults over 60. As you circle, feel how the motion stays inside the knee rather than shifting into your hips or ankles. That is exactly what we want. Keep the movement easy and smooth, like your knees are stirring warm water. If you hear or feel a little clicking, slow the motion down and let the joints settle into the rhythm. Those small rotations help rehydrate the fascia that cushions the knee, the same process the monks described as washing the joint from the inside. Good. Now switch directions and keep breathing as you move. Notice if one knee feels tighter or less coordinated. That is normal. Most adults over 60 have one side that has taken more load over the years. Stay relaxed and keep the circles small enough that the motion stays gentle and soothing. If you feel unsteady, rest one hand lightly on a chair or countertop, but keep most of your weight centered. As the circles continue, you may feel warmth building around the kneecap or a sense of looseness spreading down the shin. That warmth is fluid, returning to the joint space, and it is one of the first signs that the gate of stability is opening. When you finish, take a small step in place and notice how your legs feel. Even a small shift in ease or smoothness tells you this joint is waking up and ready to support you better. Exercise 3. Hip circles begin with a clear setup so your hips move while the rest of your body stays steady. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, place your hands on your hips and soften your knees just a little. Now start drawing a slow, controlled circle with your pelvis. Keep it small, about the size of a dinner plate, not bigger. You want the movement to come from the hip joint itself, not from your shoulders swaying or your whole upper body rocking around. As you settle into the motion, imagine you are polishing the inside of the hip socket. That image helps you stay centered and keeps the movement smooth instead of jerky. This slow circular motion warms the deep fascia around the hips and begins releasing the stiffness many adults over 60 feel, where the spine meets the pelvis. That tight spot is one of the main reasons posture collapses and walking starts to feel heavy with age. Let the circle stay gentle and controlled. You should feel the motion spreading through the pelvis, like oil moving through gears that have been still for a long time. If you notice a little release across the front of the hips or a warm easing sensation along the lower back, that is exactly what we want. Good. Now switch directions and keep the circle the same size. One direction may feel smoother than the other. That is completely normal and usually means one side of your hips has been carrying more load over the years. Stay patient with it and let your breath stay relaxed. These circles gently decompress the lower back and restore hydration to the tissues that help your hips glide when you move. When the hips tighten, they age your posture faster than almost anything else. And when they open, your whole body feels younger. As you finish the last few rotations, pause and shift your weight side to side. Even a slight sense of ease means the gate of youth is opening and your hips are beginning to move the way they were designed to. Exercise 4. Spinal wave is all about teaching your spine to move like water, so we break it into clear, simple steps. Stand comfortably with your knees slightly soft and picture a gentle wave traveling down your back. Start by tucking your chin toward your chest, then let your upper back follow, and finally let the lower back round last. Think of it as letting each part of your spine take its turn. As you reach the bottom of your range, begin rising the same way but in reverse. Lift from your lower back first, then let the middle and upper back follow, and bring your head up last. This slow sequence helps every segment wake up without strain. Let the movement stay soft as if you are guiding the spine rather than forcing it. Keep your breath moving. Do not hold it. Most adults over 60 tend to brace when the back feels tight, but this wave works best when you breathe comfortably in and out. As you continue, you may feel a warm release through your back or a light floating sensation. That is your vertebrae decompressing and cerebrospinal fluid beginning to flow more freely. If one section of your spine feels stiff, slow the motion down and give that area time to catch up. You are not pulling yourself into a stretch. You are helping the fascia rehydrate and letting the nerves glide again. Keep the wave small and controlled, like tuning your spine instead of bending it. With each cycle, you may feel your posture lengthen and the muscles around your ribs soften. This is your body remembering how to move in sequence, something many people lose as the spine stiffens with age. When you finish your final wave, stand tall, breathe in gently, and notice the sense of ease spreading across your back. That is the gate of vitality opening. Exercise 5. Shoulder spirals start with a relaxed position so the movement stays inside the shoulder joint and out of your neck. Let your arms hang loosely by your sides and gently lift your shoulders just enough so they can move freely. Now begin tracing small, slow circles with your shoulders. Keep the motion light and controlled. Do not shrug or let your shoulders climb toward your ears. Keep your neck soft and relaxed so the movement stays clean. As you settle into the motion, remember this is the gate of energy. These shoulder spirals activate the natural drainage system of the upper body and help flush out the inflammation that often builds up around the neck and shoulders. You may feel a gentle warmth spreading across your chest or a soft release down the side of your neck. That is exactly what we want. Keep the circles small, smooth, and effortless, as if you were polishing the joint from the inside. Let your breath stay easy and steady. If your neck feels tight, slow the circles down even more, and imagine the muscles around your throat and jaw letting go. Good. Now reverse the direction. Rotate the other way. Can you feel your chest and the base of your neck getting lighter? That change matters, because each direction releases a different layer of the fascia network. Stay patient and keep the movement fluid. When you finish your final rotations, pause and notice how your shoulders rest. They should sit lower, more open, and far more relaxed than when you started. That sense of ease is the gate of energy opening and refreshing the entire upper body. You just finished the 5-minute ritual, and this is where the magic really begins. When you do this every day, your body adapts fast. What happens when you do this for 30 days? On day 1, you feel lighter, almost as if something inside your joints finally switched back on. By the end of week 1, the morning stiffness drops dramatically, and you stop waking up with that heavy, compressed feeling in your hips and lower back. By week 2, inflammation begins to drain, your movements feel smoother, and your posture starts correcting itself without effort. And by day 30, your range of motion feels younger, your gait is lighter, your hips feel open, your spine feels free, and even your knees begin to quiet down. Many adults over 60 report feeling 10 to 20 years younger, simply from reconnecting with the joint fascia network modern life neglects. This ritual works because it restores what time has taken from your body: hydration, elasticity, circulation, and the natural flow of energy. It is not magic. It is biology, and the monks discovered it long before science explained it. I want you to commit to 5 minutes a day for the next 30 days. Comment day 1 below to join the Joint Coding Challenge. Public commitment increases follow-through by more than 60%, and thousands of people have already transformed their mobility, posture, and energy, with these ancient movements backed by modern research. Remember, your body is not stiff because you are aging. It is stiff because it is dehydrated and compressed and waiting for you to activate the system designed to repair it. 5 minutes, 5 gates, and your joints will remember what youth feels like. I will see you tomorrow when I show you the ancient standing breath that supercharges this entire ritual and unlocks even deeper regeneration. Your youth is not gone. It is waiting to be reawakened.